Hey everyone. Well, somebody asked me when I did my previous four-part video on all my non-Sonic the Hedgehog graphic novels and trade paperbacks that I have. They asked me if I could do one on Sonic, and I thought I had done one. Maybe it was just my overall collection that I did. So I figured, you know what? I do need content. So by the time you watch this, it'll probably be next Monday, if you will, basically a week from now, by the time you watch this, because again, as I've mentioned, I want to try to get ahead, get you guys some content to enjoy later on. But somebody asked me, to do a video, like I said, showing them the collection I have. So consider this that video, and consider it a video you can look forward to a week from today. Because, like I said, after this Friday, I mentioned this in the channel update. My mom will be off for the after this Friday for the next 62 to 65 days, basically, from work because she's a 10-month, teacher, and she doesn't, do year long, if you know what I mean. Also, there's going to be content I'll be doing not just because she's going to be off for you guys to watch later on, but also because we have a wedding to go to a week from this Sunday. Anyway, though, let's start with some of the collection I have, and I do have to give credit to Frank Hill. It's Frank. He sent me a lot, a majority of these. Some I got on my own, but he sent me a majority. And I do have the digest over here. I have the digest over there, right next to where my comics were stored and everything. So I have the digest over there. All the digests. I'm not going to bring them out right now, but they're mainly just all the Supersonic digests from the first one to the more recent one before the comic got canceled. So anyway, what do I have here to start things out with? Well, the first thing I have, to start out with is all of the archive books of Sonic. Now, in case you're wondering what these archive books are, they're basically kind of like the digest, but they're just mainly mini versions. They are mini versions of, of a collection of all the stories, all the best stories at that time. All these stories that, kind of had a connection, with each other. They kind of had a connection with each other. Like, this is basically issue 0 up to issue 4, basically. This is issue 0, or not issue 0, no, issue 1. This is when the series started going. This is issue 1 to 4. This is like the first 4 issues, if you will, first 4 stories and all that. And I do have another copy. One of them I bought on my own. The other Frank Hill sent me. So I have those. Put these in a way that when I put them back, it'll be organized. And then we got volume 2 here. And again, this is just a consisting of 4 issues, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So basically, that's what, like I said, basically that's what these are. These are collections, archival mini collections that you could take on the road with you when you travel, and if you're on a plane and you're charging, let's say, your phone, and you don't want to use your phone that much and everything, and you just want to read. These are the kind of things you could just take out of your suitcase or one of your bags that you can carry on, maybe put right next to you or under your feet. You could just open it up and read it, and everything, keep yourself busy. Oops, I feel that was going to happen. And then, yeah, same here as well. This collects issues 9 to 12, this one. And then this one collects issues 13 to 16. This one collects 17 to 20, and I think this is where, I don't know what that was. That was weird. Here. But this one, like I said, collects, collects 17, issues 17 to 20, and of course it has the prelude issues to, the Princess Sally miniseries. So we have that. Then of course we have this one. This collects issues 21 to 24, which is really cool. This one collects 25 to 28. so we have those. And then this, of course, collects 29 to 32 and everything. Collects 29 to 32. Then this one here collects 33 to 36, issues 33 to 36. And then this one collects, 37 to 40. 37 to 40. I don't know if they did one for, I think they did, I don't know how many more archives they did, but basically a majority of the main archives were, a majority of these archives basically was a more cheaper in-store wise or order online wise of catching you up with a lot of the comics in case you, let's say you got started late, and everything, and you wanted to know, what the other stories were about. These are the kind of, things that, caught you up to date. But those weren't the only archives he gave me. He gave me the Knuckles archive. So we have Knuckles Knuckles Volume 1. This consists of Sonic's friendly nemesis, Knuckles 1 to 3, and Knuckles the Echidna 1 to 3. Basically the miniseries and the ongoing series. Then this one, Volume 2, consists of issues 4 to 9. And then this one consists of issues 10 to 15. Then this one, issues 16 to 21, which, trying to think, I know it shows up somewhere. I don't know what issue it is yet. But yeah, it's issues 16 to 21. And then, of course, these are just my little junior novels I got, Sonic Extreme and everything. These are basically books that Troll Publications, that were written by Michael Tenenbaum, brought out. And these were basically stories that, for a majority of them, comprised of basically hybrid stories. Like, they were stories that were kind of like, let's say, in the vein of what you kind of saw with Sonic's Christmas Blast. That's kind of in that style. Like, they're trying to combine both Satayam and, Satayam and adventures. They tried to collect them all in one piece and everything. Or one collection, one story. To kind of give you like a different alternate version and everything. So yeah, that's what they did here. Again, it's just like, excuse me. Like I said, it's just a collection of a lot of them, honestly, which I like. And these are books that people, if you look online, you can probably find them scanned together. And then, of course, this is Fortress of Fear. Again, this is, like I said, it's a combination, as you can tell by the design of Robotnik there. They're trying to combine both adventures and Satayam together. So basically, like I said, what you would see on Sonic's Christmas Blast, is what they were trying to do. And then here we have Robotnik's Revenge. This is just another story of how Bunny got roboticized, or partially roboticized. She was basically part of the team at the time and everything. And basically, she had got captured and was gonna get roboticized and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those kind of stories. And again, it's a collection of, it's not a collection, but it's basically a story that collects, elements of both adventures and, Satayam, and combines it together and everything. And then here we have the Best of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a mini version of a book I do have, again, sent to me by Frank Hill. And this is basically a best of story, and I'm trying to see here how many volumes the archives went to. Let me get my flashlight here off my phone. Hold on. Okay, so The Sonic Archive volumes were going to go to 24. They were going to go up to 24 volumes, the archives. So what I have mainly is, up to 10. And if it's every 4 issues, we can only assume that basically, with this being the only other one I have, and it's up to 40, and it had 14 more issues to go, we can assume that volume 11 was going to be, let's see, 37, 38, 39, 40. Volume 11 was going to be 41, 42, 43, 44. Volume 12 was going to be 45, 46, 47, 48. And then volume 13 would be 49, 50, 51, 52, and so on. Basically, you just add in the four issues every now and then, and that's probably pretty much what we were going to get. But yeah, that's basically the obvious. That's basically what the plan was, to go all the way up to a certain amount and everything. So we can only assume that by the time we got to volume 14, which probably would have been like 53, 54, 55, and 56, that volume 24 might have been up to, issue 66, from what I can tell. But anyway, this consists of some of the best stories of Sonic the Hedgehog, some of the best ones. It's the Ultimate Collection, 300 pages. And it consists of Race Against the Machine, Mecha Madness, Future Tense, Lost in the Moment, Dark, let's see, what is that? Dark Tonics, Dark Hearts, Forced in Fire, Babylon Rising, Line in the Sand, In the Name of Love, Endangered Species, The Great Chaos Caper, I Am, Shadow Fall, and Father and Son. Basically, it's a consistent of some of the best stories that they did at that time. And this is, of course, before the whole reboot and everything, so they were able to collect what they could in those stories. Now, moving on, we're going to go over to here, and this is basically, again, some of these, if not most of these, were sent to me by Frank Hill. So these are the Sonic Super Specials magazines. These were done in a magazine size, so that they could also sell them in grocery stores. And again, it's to help you catch up with a lot of what the comic was going on at that time. And the pictures were a little bit bigger, or pages and pictures were a little bit more bigger. And it collected a lot of the post-reboot and pre-reboot stories, as well as collected a lot of things, outside of just the main book. Like this one is definitely dedicated to when Sonic Boom came out. And this is, what volume is this? This is volume 13, so this is definitely dedicated to that, if you will. We'll put that over here. Then, let me get some Pepsi. Then, we had Sonic Super Special Poster Spectacular. And what this was basically, it's a collection of a lot of poster-sized elements of the issues, as well as collecting issue, I think, 199, I believe. Yeah, issue 199. Yeah, 190. Oh no, was it? No, 198 and 216. And then it gave you a lot of posters and everything to read in between, or to look at in between. But the way they're done, it's just like with a lot of posters. You don't want to tear it out. Like this one, of course, is a poster for size of issue 230. A moment I think a lot of us fans would love to forget, and everything. And then of course you have a poster size version of the archive cover. That's pretty cool. And then of course a poster size of issue 30 and everything. Basically these are the kind of things that you could, put on your wall. And then of course you have a poster size version of Darkest Storm, and stuff like that. So Yeah, a lot. Here's the thing too. A lot of comic companies would do this with their comics. Like this one here, if you wanted to, you could definitely try to get out carefully. That's the encyclopedia cover. That's definitely good for framing. And here you have the other end of Darkest Storm right there. And of course, the like I said, the other part of the 230 cover. But yeah, basically, it's consisting of a lot of good, a lot of covers. Like right here, you have 225's cover right there, which I think they have somewhere around here too. Yeah, right there is the other part. But for me, I already have that cover. We can pull this back. I already have that cover right there. If you can see that, I already have that cover right there. I've shown you that in the room tour. It's right up there. What I do is I basically print them out and then I try to frame them, put them up and everything, and all that. So anyway, open up that door now. But yeah, basically I already have that cover and everything. And I'll put the room tour thing up so you guys can see it. And then of course we go into the back lot and into another story that they have. So yeah, a lot of comic book companies would do this, maybe, and sometimes they would do this by teaming up with, magazine, comic book magazine publications like Wizard and everything. They would do that in. So here we have issue 3 of the Super Special, and this consists of Sonic 4 Episode 2 Prologue, because they did an adaptation, Sonic the Hedgehog 25, Sonic the Hedgehog 213, Sonic the Hedgehog 214, and 176. So I don't know why they put it like that, but they did. And here's what's interesting. I'm not lying. There are fellow fans online. Then when they look on how Sally's design here, this is one of the reasons they appreciate Stephen Butler as a designer, because of the way she gets designed and everything. And I think it's around here somewhere. Yeah, like right there. They love the way they love how she was designed. Where is it? Right here. They love how she was designed right here. So yeah, a lot of fans like that. And so what else they liked, basically how Loop was designed too. So this is one of the issues, the two-parter, 213 and 14, that they really appreciate Steve Butler's work with and everything. So yeah, basically this collects some of the issues there and everything. So it's really nice to have, even though they're a little out of order. Then here we have issue 4, and this is mainly Mobius years later, if you will. Mobius years later, 25 and 30. Basically the follow-up. So that's what this one is. So if you don't know anything about Mobius years later, this is something to have in your collection. And then here we have Sonic Super Special. And again, it's got a behind-the-scenes feature for Sonic Boom. And then, of course, it catches us up on basically the entire reboot, if you will. So it's got Countdown to Chaos, Racing for the Stars, Pirate Plunder Panic, and Sonic Rush Adventure. And the Sonic Rush Adventure, mainly the Sonic Rush Adventure came out pre-reboot, and the racing one that they do here, the Sonic Racing one, came out basically during the Mecha Sally arc. Just like that Olympic focused issue of 241, focused mainly on the Olympics, and I don't know if it was a tie-in or not. The issue for Sonic Universe, which was, let's see, which one was it? I don't know which one that was. Racing for the Stars from Sonic Universe. Mainly, excuse me. Yeah, Sonic Universe. It was to help promote It was to help promote Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed, and mainly also for the fact that they got Dana Patrick in there. So yeah, that's one of the reasons it interrupted. I don't know honestly what Sega was thinking at the time by telling Archie do this at this time. Just didn't make sense to me. And then of course, like I said, it had stories, and it also had some news items like to promote some Sega stuff, the Sega's 25th anniversary. So yeah, mainly here you got like the last. You also consist of the last two issues in the Return of Freedom Fighters arc that they did. Now moving on, we're going to look at some issues here. And this here is Countdown to Chaos. And this collects issues 252 up to 256. And they mainly collect them into a graphic novel trade paperback, if you will. So that way, again, if you don't want to log those 4 issues around individually while you're traveling, you have something like this just to take with you, and you get everything, that you got in the comics originally. And mainly what they were doing at the time of this is basically they were trying to rebuild the trade paperbacks, the collections that they were releasing and everything to tie in more with the reboot and everything from what I can tell. So yeah, you get all the issues, you get basically all the issues and everything collected into one, 252 and 256. And yes, they do add in 252, and they do catch you up as to why we're starting over again, if you will. That's pretty cool to have in the collection. As I try to find a place to put this. There we go. Then here we have Sonic the Hedgehog first. Now I do have the super special. Oh, not super special. Yeah, is it a super? Yeah, the super special, because they would do those annual 48-page special stuff, just like any other comic publisher would. So I have the super special version of this, but this is the trade paperback collection of all the first things of Sonic, like the first Sonic issue, the first appearance of Bunny Rabbit, first appearance of Knuckles, you name it. So it's all collected in here. It's basically those 4 stories that they're showing the covers of that, are the first for the characters. So for Bunny, in comic book wise, it was the first time she was shown up ever. Or she showed up, period. Now, the one criticism some fans would have, and some wouldn't have, is they basically recolored Sally. Now, originally when these issues came out and everything, Sally was colored pink. She was a pink color and everything. And I do have that. Again, going back to the archives, I do have that. So yeah, so basically what they did here is they basically recolored Sally from her original appearance and everything in those books. Then here we have not one but 2 of these, Sonic the Hedgehog: The Beginning, and this is a collection of the original 0 to 3 miniseries and all that. And here, this is just a reprint of the stories of how they were supposed to be. Like, you see Sally there with originally yellow hair and orange fur, or orangey brown fur, and then you get you get Sally later on in that pink and black design as well, and that's how she looked like in the original issue of I should say, of issue 3 when they first met Bunny. Like right here, this is a cover of the first issue and everything. So yeah, so it's really cool that they did this, and that's always been the question I've had is why doesn't IDW just basically do what they did with Archie's Run and Ninja Turtles and just collect them all together? The problem is, though, I think the problem is, and this being a big difference, is they could do it, but they'd have to pay royalty fees to Ken Penders, if that even still stands. Because if it doesn't, and as rumor has come out, or speculation and news has come out, and people have talked about, if it comes out that maybe Penders was not telling the truth and there was no royalty fees needed or necessary, that could be something that they could look into, and maybe that'll get them to bring all these stories into a collection eventually. All right, next up, we have not one but two of the Best of Sonic the Hedgehog Ultimate Best of Sonic the Hedgehog Comics Volume 1. This is the first volume. This is Volume 2, the Ultimate Collection. So this was the first volume there. And then, of course, this is Volume 2. And this consists of Mecha Madness, the finale to Endgame, Order from Chaos, and Future Tense. Yeah, so, and these were all chosen by certain people that worked on the book. Like Mecha Madness was chosen by Ian Flynn, Finale to Endgame by Patrick Stanzi, or Pat Spaz as he's known, Order from Chaos by Tracy Yardling, and Jamal Peppers chose Future Tense and everything. So really cool that they got a chance to choose what they considered the best stories to put into these issues, if you will. Really cool. And the one thing I do want you to notice is that when you look at these covers, this majority of the characters on there, like Sonic, are game characters, except for Sally, which basically is, in my opinion, no way of saying, yeah, she's a game character. It's just that, she's not playable like she should be, unless, Sega finally gets off the rear and does it. Okay, so next up we have the 3-volume collection of Worlds Collide. Yes, we have Worlds Collide Volume 1, 2, and 3. And this is basically a 3-volume graphic novel collection of all the issues and everything, consisting of the crossover. And if you wanted to read this in order to tie into the first one I just showed you and everything right here, then that's how you would do it. It's like this. That's how you would read it to tie in together and all that. So there you go. Got those. And then up next, we have a lot of Sonic Universe. Or not Universe, a lot of Sonic trade paperbacks, I should say. Or, yeah, mainly what they are is Sonic collections, graphic novels, if you will. So here, we have collects Sonic issue 1 to 4, Sonic Universe, the Shadow Saga. So we have that. And let me get this one here, put that over here. We got that. We have Volume 2 collects Sonic Universe. Volume 2 collects the 30 years later story, which is Sonic Universe 5 to 8. Right there. Then we have Volume, I think this is 3, collects Knuckles Returns from Sonic Universe 9 to 12, which is really cool. And here we have Sonic Universe. We have 13 to 16, Journey to the East, which ties into Iron Dominion. Then here we have 21 to 24. I think this is volume. Which volume is this? Did I get this wrong here? Oh yeah, the other ones are down here. I do apologize for that. No, I guess I don't have volume 5 or something. Do I? I have to look. But yeah, we have volume 6 here. This collects issues 21 to 34 of Sonic Universe. Then we have this one, collects 25 to 28 of the Silva Saga. This is basically, let's be honest, a loose adaptation of Ian Flynn's Other M fanfic that he did, or webcomic he did, back before he became a main writer. That's what it is. So here we have Volume 8, The Scourge Lockdown, collects issues 29 to 34, which is pretty cool. And then we get into the Saga series, and this is basically essentially what Universe was, but it collects a lot of the stories that kind of associated with each other. Like Volume 1, we have Darkest Storm, majority of the stuff that took place during and before Darkest Storm, as well as also gives us some bonus stories as well. It gives us some bonus material as well. So we have Darkest Storm. I think, and everything. Yeah, it gives us some bonus material, I should say, to go with Darkest Storm, like some of the stories in addition to it and all that. Then we have Order from Chaos, which consists of, issues 168 to 172 and everything. So it brings all those stories together, including like the first time that Sonic meets Nicole. If I can find that again, where is it? There it is. Like when he first sees Nicole. Well, he knows who Nicole is, but that's the first time he sees a Lynx form. So we have that. Then we have this one. This is Sonic Volume 3. This consists of 173 to 176 and everything. So one of the bigger ones. And of course shows the return of Sally as we know her. Well, they didn't get to that one yet, but I think they're getting to that one in a moment. So we got that in there. And this one consists of 177, 129, 177, and 180. So you get a couple of issues extra, a couple of stories extra, and everything. And then, of course, you get, like I said, Sally back to her original design like everybody is used to having. It's really cool. And then I think the first one I talked about here, let me see where it's at here. This one, well, let me get it. The first volume here consisted of this, well, it doesn't say. It just says Darkest Storm. So I think they started numbering it when people were like, well, that's not part of Darkest Storm and everything. Then we have Evil Reborn, which consists of issues 181 to 184 and 196. Basically when Knuckles became Inner Jack, if you will. And then he tried to redeem himself and everything, thanks to Rouge of all people, And then we have Volume 6, which is Mogul Rising. And this consists of 185 to 189. And those stories were basically during the Moebius invasion storyline that they were starting. And I think they have Volume 7 and all that coming up too, but I think maybe this is also when the legal issues started to happen and everything. Then, of course, we have the collection featuring the complete Sonic Genesis comic. This was, of course, issues 226 to 229. That's basically how we got to where we were. And then, before we get into these, we'll look over here, see what we have. Put these right here for a second. So here, we have what's known as Sonic Selects. And I'll say this about Archie and Sega. They did everything they could to get people to, read the catch up with the comics and stuff. So here we have, if I can get these in order, if you will, best order I can get them, Book 3, Book 1, Book 7, Book 8. Here we go. So here we have Sonic Select Book 1, and this consists of, let me see here, The Quest, Part 1, The Mirror Zone, Tails' Tallest Tales. So yeah, basically it is of the quest and everything, from the In Your Face special. So that's pretty cool. Then we have Book 3, and this consists of, if I can read it, Battle Royal, which I have the super special of, The Map, also from Super Special number 1. We have Super Special number 2, which is Brave New World, Return of the King, Super Special 4, and Eel of Fortune, Mecha Madness, and Bugged Bunny, Sonic Blast. You know, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool and everything. So, you get some of the more, you basically get like the first couple of issues, the super specials that came out in that, so I like it. And then here we have book 7, and this consists of Deadliest of Species Prologue, issue 20 of Sonic the Hedgehog, Deadliest of Species Part 1, Deadliest of the Species Part 1, which is the first issue of Princess Sally miniseries, that is. Then we have Deadliest of the Species Part 2, issue 2 of the Princess Sally miniseries, and Deadliest of the Species Part 3, which is Princess Sally miniseries issue 3. And then we have My Special Friend, which has Sally crossing over into the Knuckles comic, and The World Can Wait, which is the final reuniting of Sally and Sonic as an item. So it's pretty cool. It's a nice little collection there. Again, the first 3 main stories are basically the Princess Sally miniseries, issues 1 to 3, Deadliest of the Species, along with the prelude from issue 20 of the main book. And then finally, we have book 8, and this consists of Submersible Rehearsal, Sonic Triple Trouble Special, Introduction to the Tails Saga, which is on page 4 of this, Growing Pains Part 1, which is Sonic the Hedgehog 28, Growing Pains Part 2, which is Sonic the Hedgehog 29, Southern Crossover Part 1 from the Tails miniseries, Southern Crossover Part 2, which is issue 2 of the Tails miniseries, and Southern Crossover Part 3, which is from issue 3 of the Tails miniseries, and then The Chosen One from The Chosen One Part 1 from 149, and The Chosen One Part 2 from Sonic 150. So very Tails heavy oriented in the book. Very heavy oriented for Tails. And then, last but not least, these are big ones again. Frank Hill sent me these, so I got to give a shout out to him on that. These were issues that Sega was Archie and Sega were promoting as part of what would be known, or what would have been known as the Legacy series, except of course due to legal issues, this along with some of the future volumes of the archives, both Sonic and Knuckles, and then of course the future of the Universe graphic novels and the digest and the Saga series and all came to an end because of the legal issues with Ken Penders and the change up in the reboot. But here we have Sonic the Hedgehog Legacy Series Book 1, and this consists of the original miniseries 0 to 3 and Sonic the Hedgehog ongoing series 1 to 16. So what you get here basically is you get 4 issues of the original miniseries, and then you get the next 16. So you get 20 issues of story in these books. But what's interesting is a lot of these books are in black and white. They are in black and white. So you might ask yourself, well, why are they in black and white? Why not just colorize them and everything? Because I think what it was, they wanted to get these out as quickly as they could and everything. They wanted to get these out as quickly as they could, so that way, people can get their hands on them and they can turn a profit and everything. That's mainly what it was. And a lot of comic book publishers like DC and Marvel, and even IDW and all that, they do the same thing. They do and have done, I should say, the same thing. They do and have done the same thing. I should point out. I know I sound like I'm rambling there, but they basically have all done the same thing because it's a cheaper, quicker way to get people access to a lot of these classic stories. So put that over here. The next up we have book 2, which consists of issues 17 to 36, Mainly it consists, mainly it consists essentially, you know, of, going from the more comedic tones to the more serious tones and everything, as we were heading in that direction, that. And again, done in black and white because, mainly I think they realized a lot of people may have these issues, or they may have the trade paperbacks of the issues and everything that are in color. So why not just, put them in black and white, make it cheaper and quicker to get out. And also the fact that basically they probably, again, what I'm trying to say, I almost lost my train of thought there. Again, what I was trying to say is a lot of studios, comic book publishers would do this for this stuff. I got a little distracted looking through here. I do apologize. But a lot of comic book publisher studios would do the same thing. And then, of course, we have the third and unfortunately the last volume, unless IDW does something, 37, which consists of issues 37 to 54, which means, of course, it has Endgame. Yes, it has the Endgame saga in there. It has the Endgame saga in there, which is really cool and everything. It has the Endgame saga in there. So yeah, it has Endgame saga. But yeah, it's issues 37 to 54. And like I said, I do have the digest as well. I'm not going to show you those right now that Frank Heel sent me, but they are there, believe me. And anyway, though, guys, that's pretty much going to do it. That's pretty much going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Again, by the time you watch this, it'll be, what's today? The 12th? It'll be the 19th. By the time you watch this, the 19th of June, 2023. Again, I'm doing this mainly so that you guys have content for the next couple of weeks while my mom is off on vacation. Of course, we have a wedding to attend and all that as well. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Super chats were open. I will put that in the description. Super chats are going to be available, right off the bat. If you guys want to if you want to help donate in that way. Also hit the super thanks button as well during the display. That'll help me out financially. Also hit the shop button during the info display. That'll help me out if you check out my Teespring store. Also check out my BEW Roses Discussions podcast, where you'll get audio versions of a lot of my videos I do here, except of course collection videos like this, because how can you physically see it if you're just hearing about it, But anyway, you can check that out too. That'll help me out in a big way, especially if you listen to the BEW Roses Discussions podcast on Spotify. The more you listen on Spotify, the more it'll get me, closer to 100 Spotify listeners for the ambassador ads to open up. And that'll help me out financially too. But guys, that's about it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the live chat. And until then, I will talk to y'all later. Peace out, and I gotta let my battery charge.